Good morning, this is Heather from weddingsbyheather.com and the Flourish.Academy. Today is Wednesday. I'd like to give you a quick tip, and these videos are meant to be just fast, fun, informative, and things that have come up in recent mentoring sessions or questions that I'm often asked. So if you've been following along this week, we have been talking a lot about first and third party lenses. And my friend Mandy had let me borrow her Tamron 70-200. I have the Nikon version, and yesterday I ran some tests and they were a lot of fun and very interesting. So I'm going to just really quickly go through my results of this test, keeping in mind that this was not exceedingly scientific on my part. I had 4 test subjects. I used Evan, the chickens, my mom, and then those were all outside. And then I came inside and focused in some low light on some text. So the results were like this. I took all of this into Lightroom and I immediately rejected any of the photos that were like clearly motion blur, like something I had done or had missed the focus. Then I marked all of the images that were sharp, and it was sort of blindly. What I mean by that is I was not looking at whether it was the Nikon or Tamron lens. I was just going through the photos in one-to-one preview in Lightroom and marking them if they were sharp. And because the photos were all the same, I didn't know which camera they were coming from at this point. So I did that, and then I filtered, and I looked at the Nikon and the Tamron, and I just added up how many photos were sharp and in focus. And the results are this. The photos of Evan that I took outside, and I have all of these settings. I don't have them with me. I shot at a variety of ISOs and shutter speeds, but in the case of Evan's photos, 4 of the Nikon and 6 of the Tamron were sharp. Ooh, interesting. When I shot Mom, it was even, 3 and 3. 3 Nikon, 3 Tamron, they were all sharp. And when I did the text inside, and I happen to remember these particular settings because there's something I use quite often, specifically in Hines Chapel, I was at ISO 1600 at 2.8 at 1/60th of a second. Now remember, I didn't have VR turned on the Nikon lens because the Tamron version that I'm testing does not have any type of vibration reduction or image stabilization. And out of those photos, 7 from the Nikon were sharp and 5 from the Tamron. So they all performed very well. And the reality is, as I'm looking at these results, they performed almost equally. And I really can't find any issues at all with the Tamron lens. It is noticeably lighter. I know I've talked about that, but when I picked it up and I was actually shooting, it was easier for me to use it because it was so much lighter. I even think it focused faster. I was not expecting that. So what I did was I had Craig take some video of the test that I was conducting, and I have it posted. It's at homesteadheather.tv and it's marked day 27. So if you go there, you can watch the video and see sort of behind the scenes how I was testing these lenses. And you'll see towards the end of that video when I was in low light that I had made a slight error. I figured it out, but it took me a minute. On the Nikon lens, there is a switch, and it says, I'm not sure if you can read that or not, but it says full or infinity to 5 meters, and that's about focus distance. It should also be noted that the Tamron minimum focus distance is 4.25 feet, and the Nikon is 4.5 feet. That's a slight difference, not huge, but what made a really, really big difference was this switch. So I wasn't paying attention, and I had it set for 5 meters to infinity. And what that means is that I'm telling the lens to not focus on anything that is closer than about 16 feet, 5 meters. Oh my goodness. And so I'm trying to test it, and I'm pretty close, and it would not focus, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, why will this lens not focus? And I started to think, oh man, the Tamron is way better than the Nikon. And then I looked down and realized that that was an issue. When you put this on full, you can focus at about 4.5 feet minimum focus distance. So typically you would want to be on full, unless I would say you're outdoors and or your subjects are always going to be more than 5 meters, which is about 16 feet away from you. So those are my results. Go to homesteadheather.tv, watch day 27. There's behind the scenes of this. If you have any questions, please let me know. I found this test very interesting, and I would say for a $900 lens, it performed really, really well. I think that the new version that has the vibration reduction is a little bit more. Maybe somebody could look that up real quick. The Tamron 70-200 for the Nikon with vibration reduction, but it performed really well compared to a $2,200 lens. That being said, this was not a scientific test, and in order for me to comfortably make a recommendation, I would have to shoot an entire wedding with this before I would, in a challenging wedding, before I could say buy one over the other. But I was actually pleasantly surprised with that Tamron, so I say if you like it and it works for you, if you wanted, you could rent them both to test it before you purchase, but I didn't think it was that bad. Okay, the quick tip for today is my friend Roxanne, she posted the other day and asked when she would need off-camera flash. And my comment, or when should she learn off-camera flash? And my comment to her was, when you need it. How do you know when you should learn something, or when you should buy a full frame camera or a specific lens? And really the only thing I can say to that is when you have a need for it, when you have outgrown what you're using, or you can't accomplish what you'd like with your current gear. Now, my friend Roxanne is awesome. She is this cute little fashionista. She has 5 boys. She lives in Columbus, Ohio. She has driven 3.5 hours for mentoring sessions, but I don't think, Roxanne, that you're ready for off-camera flash yet, because you don't even know why you would need it, right? So that doesn't make sense to learn it. But when you are ready, you will know, because you won't be able to get the results you want with your current gear. Leanne says, I've used the Canon Tamron VC and the Sigma OS, and it works well, but you have to pry my Canon 70-200 out of my cold dead hands. Leanne, that's how I feel. I say the same thing. If I had to have one lens, it would be my Nikon 70-200. That's funny. So in terms of off-camera flash, I don't think that it's for everyone, nor do I think everyone needs to learn it. It depends on what you're photographing, and does the situation warrant it. So the first few years that I photographed weddings, and I am not sure exactly when this transition happened. I'd have to go back and look through my photos, but I shot several weddings with just the flash on my camera before I bought stands and Pocket Wizards and extra flashes to shoot off-camera flash. And those weddings that I photographed were fine. I think that my reception images improved when I went with off-camera flash, but I don't think it's a requirement. I just think it looks nicer, and that's my personal preference. But again, it depends on what you're doing. It depends on what you're photographing and what your needs are. You can get a really inexpensive one light off-camera flash setup for about $400 in total. I'm talking about everything, and that's if you buy an inexpensive flash stand and a set of Pocket Wizards or triggers. Any kind of triggers that work would be fine. But I don't know that I would invest in that until I knew why I needed it, right? Does that make sense? Do you have any questions about, at a high level, off-camera flash? I got a text from one of my clients. Good morning, Sean. Hi. I got a text from one of my clients recently. It was about this long, and it asked me to explain off-camera flash in text. I can't do that. There's more to it than that. We'd have to talk about what your goals are, what triggers you want, what's your budget, what are you trying to photograph? Good morning, Susie. So you would have to look at all of those different things. And for those of you just joining at the beginning of this video, so you want to watch it from the beginning, I recapped my test of the Tamron 70-200 alongside of the Nikon. You can view the behind the scenes video at homesteadheather.tv. It's day 27 where you can see that test, and let me know your thoughts. Again, not exhaustive. I don't want somebody saying to me that wasn't scientific and you should have done this and taken notes and had a spreadsheet. Oh, please. I was just messing around trying to see what my thoughts were. I liked the lens. It was lightweight. It was quick to focus, at least in the conditions I was in, one of which was low light, but I wouldn't know for sure until I tested it at a wedding. Any questions? Anything I can help you with? Okay, have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.